Hi. Hello. How are you? I am well. Thank you for asking. Um, I am Amanda of the Manda Made It podcast. This is where I discuss all of my knitting, crocheting, spinning, possibly some dyeing, maybe some sewing, various crafty things, mostly yarn related and focused. There might be some history stuff thrown in. Go for the ride, we'll see. As I said, my name is Amanda. I am coming to you from Westerly, Rhode Island. I live here with my two kids, Callie, who is 5, and Ayla Rose, who is 1, as well as my husband, AJ. I am a stay-at-home mom, and so I am able to carve out some pieces of time occasionally to do things like this. Today is a snowy Sunday. It's actually Super Bowl Sunday. So the kids and dad are having their the beginning of their epic snack day upstairs right now. And I decided to take a few minutes to come down and talk about my yarny stuff because I'm excited about it. Let's get to it. So I only have one whip. I'm sorry, one whip. We'll talk about whips. I have one FO today, and it is a spinning FO. I did finish my supported spindle spin of Black Jacob. It took me a couple of months to spin this up. It was 4 ounces of Black Jacob. I had gotten it from this is my little spinning notebook. I have terrible handwriting. I don't, my notebooks never look nice. People can have beautiful, fancy notebooks and all that stuff, and I have come to accept that that is not me. However, I still love notebooks. So the Black Jacob came from Friends and Fiber. I got it at the New England Fiber Festival in early November. That was held up in Massachusetts. So this was the first time that I had done a dedicated spin on just supported spindles. And I just worked at it. I put it, didn't touch it for a little while. And then, as with all things in my projecty type of life, I had to set some parameters in order to make some real progress. And my parameters were that I would spin on my spindles for 15 minutes a day. It could be more than 15 minutes if I wanted, but I would set a timer. And when those 15 minutes were done, that was enough. Like, I didn't have to, it was done. Check, all set. I didn't have to feel like, oh, I still got to do this, I got to do more, I got to do more. Like, it's a habit that we can get into when we're making things that we want to make and we want to continue making. And sometimes we just have to give ourselves parameters and accept that, you know, while we're learning, because I am learning, I don't, like, I just started spinning in late July of 2021. So, I mean, I'm just hitting the 6-month mark, and, or just did hit the 6-month mark. And I mean, like, you gotta give yourself some sort of system for how to learn and how to practice without overloading yourself. Because in my case, at least, I will overload the shit out of myself. I have too much other stuff to do. So this is the Black Jacob. It did come out. I have washed it and rescanned it and dried it and all of that stuff. It floofed up so much. I did not expect. Like, looking at what I had on the spindles, I was shocked when I finally went and touched the dry skein, because it was insanely puffier and bigger. It's rustic feeling, you know, like for most people, not most, I don't know. Like for people who are sensitive, this is not an extra skin thing, at least not the way I spun it. supported spindling does generally lend itself to a woolen spun kind of long draw situation. I don't know if I would technically call what I was doing that, because it was very much a park and draft type of learning thing for me. But this made me realize the value of keeping a sample pre-washed so that you can see the difference just for your own education about what you're working with and what you're doing. Because I mean, god damn, there was just such a significant difference in what happened. I ended up with I'm sorry, let me finish. I did the singles on my support spindles. I plied it on my Luette S10 because I haven't done anything with my drop spindles in a while. I wasn't comfortable with trying to ply on my support spindles yet, and so I just did it on my, I just wanted it to be done. I just wanted it to be done. This was one of my February goals, was to finish the spin, so I knew I was going to ply it on my my wheel. And I ended up with 142 yards for 110 grams. So heavy worsted Aran, I think. I don't know, something like that. But the color is gorgeous. Now, when I washed it, the water did end up coming out with a very brown, almost like a dye. I don't know. I hesitate to say dye because I'm not used to washing yarn yet. Like, I mean, I do it, but it's not like something that I do a lot of yet. I mean, you know, so that I can understand the difference between what's typical colors of stuff to come out. I mean, it smells sheepy as hell, so it's not like I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I was just surprised that there was that much water coming out, or color coming out in the wash. But either way, I am pleased to have this done. I am very excited to be able to work with this in a project. I do have some various one-off skeins that I think might all work fairly well together in terms of color. I mean, you know, I want to use my hand spun. I don't right now really care about matching like texture that much. Gauge, sure, but right now most of my stuff is ending up like thick, like worsted weight. No matter how thin I think I'm spinning it, it's coming out worsted weight, so we'll see. Excuse me. That's my only FO. Whips. I counted my whips yesterday or 2 days ago. I have 8 whips right now, which is for me unheard of. This is not something that I do. I am typically a monogamous type sort of knitter. I'll have a larger complex project, a pair of socks, and then maybe some sort of crochet thing going on, or, you know, like a quick kind of like palette cleanser type of project. And for whatever reason, last week I wanted to cast on all the socks, so I cast on 3 pairs of socks. I have no idea why. I don't like, I know I can't finish 3 pairs of socks in the same amount of time that I would finish 1 pair of socks. So I just was enjoying the process of casting on, and I know that once I'm done casting on, it's just a ton of stockinette, which is great because I also need that available to me in my life. So anyway, I did, I'm just gonna drop everything. I did start with, I had gotten a Lollipop Yarns colorway Hard Day's Night, which is a Beatles reference, and I had gotten this specifically for my mother because she is was a big Beatles fan. Lollipop Yarns. Hard Day's Night is the, oops, sorry, that's not where the camera is. Hard Day's Night, it has stripes of Day Tripper, Penny Lane, and Get Back, and it came with a mini me in the colorway Yesterday. So This is the main self-striping sock, and then this is the little mini. These are being done on US 1.5, which is a oh, I'm sorry. This is which is 2.5 millimeters. I am a tandem sock knitter, so I do separate my skeins into 2 balls and knit them at the same time. Now, I kind of attempted, but didn't really attempt to match up the stripes on this. And I got to the same color and was like, sure, that'll work. I don't think my mom will care. She may or may not let me know if she does. We'll find out. But for her, because it's a 1 point, because it's a 1.5, which is a little bit of a larger gauge than I typically knit socks at. And I just tried it because it's an 80/20 yarn and it's very plump, so I thought I would try it at a little bit of a bigger needle. And so I'm doing only a 60 stitch foot. I did a figure 8 cast on for 20 stitches, and then I just did knit front and back knit increases for the toe. And I did do toe. I am doing toe up. I was a cuff down person. That's mainly what I did until I kind of prefer being a little bit more in control of how long the leg is. Because there are times when I was like a really long, I kind of got into it because of knitting socks for my husband, because he prefers a longer leg, and math isn't my strong suit. So if I could get the, if I could just get the foot done to the heel and then just be able to go and go and go and go until I knew it was done on the leg, it just feels better to me. Anyway, and I'm not using any particular pattern for that. It's just, you know, figure 8 cast on, knit front and back, knit increases for the toe till I get to 60 stitches, and then I'll end up doing, you know, however many rows I need for the foot. I'll do a fish lips kiss heel, and then however high I want the cuff, and then I'll end up doing like a 1x1 or 2x2 ribbing for the cuff. The next sock is pretty much exactly the same, except it is in Regia 4-ply. I think I have the Regia 4-ply space color. Sorry, this goes over here. And the colorway number is 06464, which I think this, when I looked it up on Ravelry, it was called Neptune. So these are being done on size, looking at my notes, size 1, 2.25 needles. I use all ChowGoos. No, I don't use all ChowGoos. I use mostly ChowGoos for my socks. And I start them off on DPNs for the toe. Again, figure 8 cast on, increase to 64 stitches, all that jazz. And that is for, I am making those for a friend. And then these were like I don't know why I was compelled to do these, but I was, and so I'm rolling with it. This isn't a bag I got from my local yarn shop. I don't know who made it. I don't see any sort of maker label anywhere on it. So, yeah. All right. So these I decided to, see, I haven't even finished doing the toe on the second one, but I had finished my daughter's no-heel spiral socks with the honeymoon colorway, and those are done in the Audine Wool's cloud sock, which is a knit crate thing. And I have the honeymoon Audine Wool's cloud sock. I also had a skein of the Eclipse, which is the red. And I really wanted pink and red socks for some reason. I guess, you know, I'm just as susceptible as anybody else. You know, it's Valentine's is tomorrow. Not a holiday that we typically go nuts over or anything. Like, it never has been. But I really wanted pink and red socks. And this yarn was great. I wanted to make myself a pair of socks in it, and I had it. So I am doing stripes of the pink and the red. Again, you can really barely see what I have started, but it's going to be cute. So toe up, size 1 needles, which is 2.25 millimeters. And I think these I'll make fairly long, because I had a lot. I have 2 of these left from my daughter's socks. I think she only used like 40, I had like 60 grams left or something. So that's what I'll be doing with that. I don't know why casting on all the socks is what I wanted to do last week, but it is what I wanted to do. So that's what I do. Now my next whip, my big one, what I think of as my big one. This is like, oh, I should take that off. My little Bluetooth thing, so that when I watch YouTube or you know, anything streaming on my phone or my iPad, that streams the audio directly to my hearing aids, which makes it a lot easier for me to understand what people are saying. Even with the captions, it, you know, I don't have to look up as much when I'm knitting. So this is my classic. It's a pattern by Espace Tricot. It's being done in Knit Picks palette, pumice twist, which is a marled yarn. It's a top-down raglan with a nice turtleneck. I have finished one sleeve. It's got, like, you know, I had, and I think I mentioned this before, when I decided to do this sweater with this yarn, I had purchased this yarn not with a sweater in mind. So the yardage I have is a little, maybe cutting it close for the full size of the sweater that I wanted to make. So I knit the neck, knit the yoke, and split for sleeves. And then about an inch below where I split, my 2 balls of yarn that I was working with were done. And so I just put it on hold, and I decided to do the sleeves because I'm okay with a shorter sweater. I am not okay with shorter sleeves. Like, this is supposed to be a comfy, classic sweatshirt type of sweater. And so, yeah, so I've got that far, the other sleeve so far. You know, I was able to try it on because I got those knitting barber cords, which, you know, people have been talking about for a while now. I first heard of them last year, the year before, on the Knitting Traditions podcast. And they're great. They're useful. They take less time than other methods I've tried, such as waste yarn, or, you know, adding more cord to my cord or, you know, anyway, so they are useful. It's a useful tool to have, and I think it was like $15 for a set, so it's not like something that is completely inaccessible. It just started snowing again. Big old fluffy flakes. New England can be kind of cool because it was 50 degrees yesterday. We were outside in like long sleeve shirts, going for walks and playing in the mud, and then now it's snowing, and that's okay. I don't mind it. I as I have gotten older, have come to greatly appreciate the different weather that we get here. Oh yes, I have 2 more things to show. I do have 8 whips. However, one of them is just my my scrappy granny stripe blanket. It's upstairs. I'll show it every once in a while, but it's not something that I feel like I need to bring out every week because I'm only working on it on Sundays. a la Crazy Sock Lady, Scrappy Sunday type stuff. Again, parameters on your making can be helpful to prevent overwhelm and to still make sure things you want to work on get worked on. You know, my rule right now I started my classic sweater that I just showed. I started that as my winter solstice cast on. And my goal is to get that done by the spring equinox. And so I decided, like last month, my goal is to get through the yoke and split for sleeves. I did that, and when I did that, I put it away because I was done that month. Like, I did it, and then the month, and rather than worrying about getting ahead, I mean, knitting is my hobby, like getting ahead. It just, like, you don't do that. I mean, you're never actually, like, ahead, unless maybe you are knitting or crocheting or spinning for a job. I guess I could see that being a thing, but when it's your hobby, like, there is no ahead. You're not facing like a strict deadline. And even if you are like a birthday or a gift or something, like, that's pressure you're putting on yourself. Nobody else is doing that to you. So anyway, for February, my goal is to just get the sleeves started and finished. And I'm well on track for that. And the way that I'm doing that is I'm telling, I have to do 10 rows a day. Like, that's my first and foremost. That's what I get up and do first thing in the morning with my coffee, is I try to knit at least 5 rows, and then I will, during nap time, do another 5 rows. And that's just kind of like the parameter that I have. Like, that's the only, that way I know that this gets worked on every day, and it really works to give yourself, whether you give yourself time or a number of rows, or if you're a spreadsheet person, you know, and you know how many stitches you want to get done in a day, like, go for it. It does help. Another whip to show is the Jomax by Tyga Hilliard. I don't know if I'm missing an I, or I don't know. Anyway, it's the Jomax. You can't really see much because it's all smushed up on these needles. I'm doing it. It's just in a Bernat Plentiful, which was like a sweater and a ball thing that they did, in the colorway Burnt Orange. If you have watched any previous episodes, then you do know or are somewhat aware that this shawl did not start out well in terms of like my desire to do it. I didn't really like the yarn. I wasn't really feeling it. So I kind of gave it a little bit of a break, and then I picked it up and I was actually enjoying it because it is mindless. I do like the color. And I really want like a really stupidly large shawl. But another kind of parameter I gave myself was that I'm gonna knit most days 2 rows on it, and I mean knit in because it's, you know, knit one way, purl back. So I'm gonna do 2 rows on it a day, most of the time, and then on February 28th I'm gonna do the bind off. And whatever yarn is left gets put into the scrappy stuff, and that's fine. Like, I mean, there was 900 and some odd yards in this ball. Like, the shawl is going to be big enough. And it's just another thing that I get done, that I'm going to have what I want. And this way I don't have that pressure when I'm going into March, that I still have this shawl that I started January 1st, because that was my New Year's Day cast on, or New Year's Eve, I don't know, one or the other. And, you know, I don't know that working on something for 3 months that isn't a sweater is like something that I really want to do. So 2 months is enough in my head right now. That'll change because things, I also never was going to have 8 freaking whips, but now I do, you know. Who am I? My last, well, I kind of count it as 1 whip, even though it's 2. I mean, it gets counted as 2 whips, but I work on it as if it's one. So I'm doing the mystery knit along in a Ravelry beginning knitters forum group. This is the February, well, no, this is not the February clue, because the February clue was cats, and I don't have cats. I'm not a cat person. I didn't want cats on my scarf. So I actually inserted part of the pattern repeat from Expression Fiber Arts, a recent sweater pattern that she shared. So that's that. This is being done in Celestial. Is Ardeen Wools too? No, Vitalanis Celestial in the colorway Callisto, which is the tealy blue, and then what color is this? Phobos. Phobos is the purple. You know, so it's a tube scarf, so it's knit in the round, and all the color work, you know, is separated by a strip of plain stockinette. As you can see, I did not switch needles to a larger size, which I should have. And this is a learning piece for me, so I'm not ripping out to redo it, because I just want to learn, and I want to see in the end how I progress. So, and to see what works and what doesn't. So, the first step is going to be switching out my needles for the March pattern when that comes out on March 10th. That's what I'll do. And this one I haven't done anything further on. I actually did do the March and April ones. Yeah, March and April ones, because this was from 2018. They did the same format of mystery knit along, and it's available. It's all available for free. So anyway, this is me learning how to do color work and getting better at it and trying different things and enjoying the process. It's also kind of like a no pressure thing, because you don't get a new clue until the 10th of every month. And so with that, like, you finish it and it's done. You put it away and you forget about it until the 10th of the next month. And that's good. So that's pretty much all I've got working on. Since I finished the spindle spin, I have not started another spindle spin. I am still working on my Florida Cracker on my Luette S10 wheel. You know, I have 12 ounces of that to work through, and I do believe I've considered, I don't know where, oh, like, this is how it's spinning up. You know, this is my first bobbin. The second bobbin is almost done, and I am trying to decide if I'm going to 2-ply or chain ply. Now, this is something you should probably figure out ahead of time, but I didn't. So, you know, like, and this has been resting for a very long time, so it's not going to give a good indication of twist. But, you know, I'm also considering a 3-ply. I don't know, because this is a fairly rusticy feeling wool. I feel like it'll be pretty warm and hard wearing, and I actually kind of think I want to make a jacket out of it with some cables maybe. Hence the 3-ply or chain ply thoughts. We're gonna have to see, because I'm just not good. I haven't gained a ton of experience in like making the yarn that I want to make. Like right now I'm very much so still in the see what happens part of spinning yarn, which is very fun and enjoyable, and very not stressful. It's a hobby, guys. Like, it's a hobby. I do this for fun. I do this, you know, for my me time and my, like, to keep my hands busy, and you know, to show my kids the value of time and effort on things, and to bring creativity and art into all aspects of life, because I can bring that shit anywhere with me, you know. So that's that. I do not necessarily, I don't have any future plans for Cast Ons right now. with 8 whips. Why would I? I really am hoping to, I plan to be done with the second bobbin of the Florida Cracker by the end of February. I have done my Frogget February with my folial shawl and my rye socks that I talked about last time. And so as far as future cast-ons, I do want to cast something on with my hand spun, and that will be most likely decided far closer to the end of the month. Probably a shawl, because I have a lot of patterns that are free or that I've already purchased that I could use. I would like to make the Andrea Mowry DRK Designs nurtured sweater, but I don't own that pattern yet. And this is, again, like, I have a goal for the year to not buy anything unnecessary. Like, I don't want to get into that habit of buying patterns because they're new and shiny and then not using them. So I have some patterns that I purchased that I am going to work with first before I do that. You know, there were a couple of podcasts that I listened to, or new podcasts that I found recently. One that I've been watching for a while that I really, really enjoy, and that's Rain Fiber Arts. I'm just looking down at my notes just to make sure I get the name of it right. Rain is, she's primarily showing spinning and dyeing and content like that, and it's a lot of tutorial type of videos. They're short. I don't think anyone has been more than 15-20 minutes, I don't think. And she shows you how to do it like at home. Like, it's just good, and her voice is very comforting to listen to. I don't know why, but it is. So anyway, I will have her, and all of the stuff that I've talked about will be linked down below in the description box. So yeah, Rain Fiber Arts, she does have an Etsy shop as well, that you can find through her channel, which I'll link. And you know, she's just doing fun, good work, and I enjoy watching her videos. So maybe you will too if you are new into spinning or dyeing fiber or yarn. You know, could be interesting for you as well. Another one that I really have been enjoying is the Crafty Garden and podcast. And I know that she has talked about potentially changing her, the name of her channel. And that's because she just started her own little Shetland sheep farm, and it's so fucking adorable. Like, she's got 3 sheep, 2 ewes and a lamb, and a lamb, and a guy with a horn, ram, Condor, I think is his name, and she's just so excited and having so much fun. And it's like, I am not gonna have a farm. It's not really something I desire at this point. I am raising 2 children, and that is enough poop for me right now. And like, where we live is in, like, we live in a neighborhood. Like, we have a fenced in yard. Animal husbandry is not something that we could think of right now. I ripped out my entire vegetable garden last summer because I couldn't deal with having to keep that shit alive and my kids, let alone other animals. And plants don't even like yell at you when you don't feed them. But anyway, you know, she's a spinner and she's got sheep, and she just has this like really enthusiastic way of talking about what she's doing. She's also a designer. She's a knitwear designer. She's got a few patterns out. She's just very enjoyable to watch. So I would definitely consider checking her out if you are, again, new to spinning, or interested in the fiber aspects, the farm aspects of the sheep part of it, you know, because it is interesting. And then the last one I found is Carrie Geek. You know, I have not done a deep dive into all of her videos, but I have watched a couple, and they're just interesting. She's got practical knowledge, like what is like a good basic knitting book. You know, I don't even have a good basic knitting book. I started knitting with Debbie Stoller's Stitch and Bitch and Happy Hooker back in like 2006 or 7, you know, and I still refer to those, but I don't have like a knitting Bible. Yeah, I have like a spinning Bible and I have a fleece Bible, but I don't have a knitting Bible. So, you know, it's just, she has some interesting, content to share for newer beginners, and also for people like myself who have been doing it for so long, but have just now started really getting into it, journeying into the thick of it. So anyway, I would check those out. Yeah, that's all I have to share for today, I think. Do want to give you your reminder that you are worthy of whatever decision that you make. So often we forget to account for our own worth in life, and in the decisions that we make and the choices that we make. We are worth it. You are worth whatever you decide to do. Okay? Happy knitting. Enjoy your life and enjoy yourself. See you soon. Bye.